I've got awards for my music, film credits, ads, and sync placements, and yet I'm starting again from zero. Here's why toning down a messy brand can actually save your career. And let me tell you how I'm rebuilding step by step. Let's go. So first of all, who am I? I'm Saurabh Shetye. I'm a film composer and a music producer for ads as well as a live performer. I've composed a lot of songs, over 30 million views on YouTube, have had sync placements of my songs on an Amazon web series, done a lot of ads across various brands, and performed for a variety of corporates, private shows, and weddings as well. But here's the problem. I've done all of that under my name, Saurabh Shetye. And it gets pretty overwhelming because I don't know what I'm supposed to promote on my page or what I'm supposed to put out because I'm doing so many things at once. I'm performing at live shows, so I need to keep on putting my live shows and cover songs that I play in those shows. I need to put out my original music, my collaborations that I do with other artists, which again might not always fit in my genre of music. I'm also putting out vocal lessons that I'm doing. So with all of that, it's just become a big fat jumble, and my audience is just as confused as well. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna create different identities for my different tasks as much as needed, of course, and I will be documenting the entire process for you all so that you can understand what mistakes to avoid when starting your own music brand and what are the good practices to do for your long run survival. Now, some of you might ask me, why start over if all of these are working well? So they are working well, but not as much as I want them to be. Because honestly, when someone comes across my page for my cover songs, they might not be as interested in my original music because it's just what they've come for. And in the other case, people who might like my original songs, when they come on my Instagram or YouTube and see a lot more cover songs there as well, they get confused as to who this artist is. And that again restricts me from scaling up any one of my businesses. So even if the work might be good, if it's in the wrong container, it just doesn't sell. And I realized over time that audience is not equivalent to your target market. So what that means is I might be increasing followers on my page, but if they don't view me in the same sense that I view myself and the work that I'm doing, then sooner or later they're gonna find some problem and they are gonna shift their focus elsewhere rather than coming on my page. And that constantly stops me from having a greater fan base who are really catered to the interests that I enjoy to make and perform. And that's always restricting me from building that correct fan base, which really loves the specific work that I want to put out. So all in all, a clean slate with a new brand gives you a lot of algorithmic control and narrative control as well for your brand. Now here are some of the lessons that I learned from my messy era. First, I let platforms dictate my story as opposed to me doing it. What that means is accepting all kinds of tags, collaboration requests, and putting them out on my page, which made it really cluttered. I also felt I chased exposure rather than positioning, which is a big mistake because exposure of course gets you more views, more followers, and then you go in the trap of doing content just to please the followers instead of something that you can really sustain long term. So the problem was I was optimizing all my content for short-term gigs and not long-term brand loyalty. So as a principle, if you don't pick a box, the market will choose an even smaller box for you. Another thing that I'm focusing on when creating my new brand is thinking as an artist versus as a founder. As an artist, my whole thought is just to create good music, keep creating what I love to do and putting it out there. But as a founder, I really need to think of it in the reverse direction. Who is my ideal listener? And I don't just mean the stats that you get in Instagram, the age, the gender, and the location. I mean, how deeply have you looked into your listener? Where is he from? What is he listening to his music on? How rich or poor is he or her? What are they feeling? What specifically would drive them to your music? All these factors and more, as we'll of course go through in my next videos, are very important in order to understand what is your goal when making this music. So inherently, what I'm doing is thinking about my product and audience fit, which is the genre promise, the mood, the use cases, which is, am I gonna be a person who soothes your heartbreaks, or talks about life in general or something maybe even more complex. And that's how I can actually build a music brand. Okay guys, so now that you know why, let's go with the what. The plan essentially will be a roadmap from phase 0 to phase 3. Now what's phase 0? It's reset week. Here we actually work on our new artist name, profile, what we want to do out of it, what we want our mission statement to be, which is basically our art statement as well. So what all we have to do in it is lock the new artist or brand name, secure the right domains, the mail IDs, and the Instagram, YouTube, X handles. We also will define our brand guardrails, which will be our 3-word DNA, which really defines our brand, which can be warm, intimate, cozy, cool, chill, or exciting, philosophical, and many more terms which we'll really get into in the next videos. It also includes the colors that we'll be using, the typography, the fonts, so that our whole brand is very consistent right from the beginning. Once this basic stuff is done, we'll move on to phase 1, which is positioning. Now for this, what we need is a 1-sentence positioning. This artist name makes this emotion contextual songs for listener context, where you describe the listener using your signature, which might be your sound, lyrics, production, or something else. We'll also define the 3 or 4 mood pillars that you'll own, which might include chill or include genres like house, pop. So we really get into the nitty-gritties of what you as an artist look like. Lastly, we'll also cover the visual system, which will include the thumbnails you use, the style of filters that you use, and overall what will be the look. So now that you understand all of these, you might start by doing a 3-track starter pack, which might give you an idea into the kind of musicality that you want to have under your artist name. This will be a continuous evolution process where you might have your visual elements also changing according to your musical style, but at least for a brief period of time, you should have something that is very consistent. So why 3 tracks is because it gives you an idea of the kind of songs that you will be making and are very comfortable making in the long run. And it also gives you an idea about what content you can put out in terms of the songs that you have made. And lastly, phase 3 will be your distribution engine, which is of course promoting your stuff, putting your songs on all the audio platforms, and a timeline that you set for all of it, so that again your work doesn't fizzle out after just a few attempts, whether successful or failed. And the process has to be something that you do and you have goals for execution instead of rewards, which is the views that you might be getting or the followers. Now I'll also be taking care of the technicalities, which is what all do I really want to dissociate from my name. For example, my live shows still come through my Instagram handle, so I don't want to necessarily let go of that aspect of my name. But as a new artist, what I want to put in there is specifically my originals, and that too of a specific style, so that even if other people are collaborating with me, I have a choice whether to put it under my name, which is Saurabh Shetye, or my new artist name. Other things to take care of is when you're changing your artist name, make sure the songs that you want to switch from your original artist page to this new artist name have all your streams and listeners, which is done by using the same code of the song, which of course I will be explaining in one of my videos later. Now, what are the risks involved in this? Well, there is a possibility that to grow my audience to the level that it is currently will take a long time, and it might never happen as well. But as long as I am happy that I have really categorized my interests and continue to work whilst having those specific targets for every different interest of mine, it should be fine. You're gonna watch me set up the brand, my songs, playlists, distribute, and more. So let me know what all you want to understand as being a new musician or an artist, and I'd love to cover them in the next topics. And if you're looking forward to this journey and understanding more about what it takes to build a whole new musician identity, subscribe, write about your journey in the comments, because this is Music in Progress.